Hey, it's Joe again, and we are looking at what the month of June has ahead for you. I know this video is a little bit on the late side, but I recorded everything, and well, as things would have it, it didn't quite work out that way. So I'm re-recording it and bring it to you a little bit late. So if you are wondering what the month of June has in store for you, then pick one of your readings for the month of June, and that will give you a good indication of what are your challenges. What can you expect? So let's get into it. Right, so as always, I will pick out 3 cards, and they will represent 3 different readings, and the one that appeals to you is the one that you should click on to view. So let's get 3 cards out. Right, and for clarification, as always, I'll add a crystal to it, so that's easier to identify. So there you have it. Just get all aligned. That will be reading 1, that will be reading 2, and that will be reading 3. So sit and meditate for a while, have a look at the cards, and see which one appeals to you. Now I know this is a little bit different to tarot, and you're used to seeing different cards, but just focus. Pick a color or go with whichever card calls you, and that'll be the one that'll be most representative of your state of mind and what you can expect for June. So you're welcome to pause the video if you still have not decided, but I'll be going on with reading 1. Right, so you have chosen the 3 of clubs. It's quite a fortuitous card, and it spells confidence and success. So it looks like it's going to be quite a good month for you. However, let's see what the cards say as a fuller reading, because there's no success without some challenges and some learning curve. So let's have a look-see. Right, there's the first card that's popped out. Let's see if any others pop out for you, or if we'll just manually break. The most important cards usually pop out straight away. Very interesting. So let's get that into the center of the screen. All nice and neat, because that's how we roll around here. Okay, so interesting enough, the clubs theme is repeated throughout the actual spread, but you've got a combination of clubs and diamonds. So that means that this month is quite heavily centered on goals, achievements, security. It could be jobs, it could be anything that would be a goal or a business orientated goal specifically as well would be represented in the spread. So it seems like this month is quite heavily weighted in terms of business or goals. Right, so the 4 represents the overall feeling for the month. So it gives you like a general feel for that month, and it's about your dreams and desires coming true. Now, one has to be careful about going, woohoo, it's all great stuff, because we have to be realistic. So that can indicate that there's a stability within the job, your career, etc. So that's the general feel for it. There's nothing is really alarming in terms of instability. The 4s are pretty much stable. The 3, which is the card that you pulled out, is indicative of not change, but growth within that. How shall I put it? Within that environment. So the 3 is that environment just changing and becoming a little bit more prosperous. The 6 of diamonds represents you, which is quite interesting because it's a give and take card. So it means that you are sort of in a mindset that you are giving and taking in terms of business, in terms of goals. So in order to attain stuff, you're also willing to give them back. The Six of Diamonds is a very interesting card because it illustrates your willingness to give and take, and that makes you a lot more flexible and also more open to getting help and assistance in your goals. And at the same time, you will be helping yourself when you help others. So it's a mutual thing. The Six is also paths. So representing the question, which is the month, what will happen during the course of June, you've got Six of Clubs, which is also, again, another victory card. It's not a victory card in the sense of, earth-shattering moon landings kind of thing. It's just a gradual process, progress that leads you to that success. So overall, we've got a lot of very good, cards to indicate that progress will be made as long as we stick with that path. Again, a lot of clubs energy, which is quite good, if you're orientated towards your goals in there. The Jack of Spades is in your challenges house. So this indicates to me that there's a little bit of dishonesty. And it's not necessarily immediately, whoever is lying to me. This is in your challenge. So for me, I immediately see that as a warning for you to just be honest with yourself. In other words, don't succumb to negativity, or don't be overly optimistic in the sense that you're expecting the moon landing and it's really just going to be going to the next town. So there's success. Just be honest about it. Don't be too over the moon about it. Right. Actually, want to get a little bit of clarification on that. And that will give you a better idea of what your challenges are. And the challenges are really half of the work towards your successes. Again, you've got a repeating card. Very interesting. Again, this is a huge spread about success. So let me put it here. You've got the six of clubs repeating, which is why I use multiple packs. So you've definitely got a path forward. Queen of Spades has come out again, which illustrates a need to probably put a past, your maybe a painful past behind you, maybe failures, and the opportunities are there. Again, another club card, the Ace, which is the beginning. It's the fiery beginnings of of goals. So that's kind of just the warning there, not to become too negative or overly optimistic that you kind of almost sit back and think, oh, it's all coming, so I don't have to worry about it. And that's exactly what we don't want. So that's the challenge. Now, in the near future card, which will obviously represent the culmination of June, it's the abundance card. So that means that you can expect a fair amount of work, but it will be rewarded with with some sort of security, financial reward. So it could even just be perhaps getting recognition at work. So we're looking at a very short time span. So we're not looking at moon landings, as I keep saying. All right. So I think that sums up quite nicely. The 3 is the development of the situation, which is pretty stable. And these are paths forward. All the 6s of paths are indicated by the 2 rows, which kind of look like footprints. That's why we call them paths. The challenge is not to get stuck in your ways in terms of negativity or over positivity. So that's it. Let me get a oracle card for you that will probably resonate with you and give you a little bit of inspiration for the month ahead. Overall, you've got a good month coming, so there's no need to get too upset. And look at that. My productivity stems from inspiration. When I focus on what brings me joy, my tasks become effortless actions. And that really mirrors what I've been saying. So for you, your challenge, which is represented by the Jack of Spades, is really just to remain positive and realistic. So be productive this month because you've got lots of good stuff coming. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching the reading. If you liked it, do give it a thumbs up. Follow if you enjoyed this type of information, this type of help. And I do hope to see you in the next reading. Have a lovely day. Right, welcome to your reading. You chose reading 2, which is represented by the Ace of Hearts and the red crystal, which is a carnelian, by the way. Very powerful, very energetic. So let's see what the month of June has in store for you. You've pulled out quite a positive passion card to represent your reading. So that bodes well. But let's see what the reading says further, because the rest will give you an indication of any kind of challenges and what you can expect for the month of June. So let's have a look. Very, very interesting. Let's get that into the center. There we go. Right. So, as I said, the Ace of Hearts is really a very passionate card. Sometimes I call it the romance for one card. And it's kind of interesting enough, it's also all red, and it has the red carnelian. It's the romance for one card because it often indicates a need to work on ourselves, to reconnect with ourselves. So I think that's what it represents for you this month, as opposed to romance, although it could. But I think mostly this is a reading really about yourself. Very, very interesting. So starting off with the first card, which represents the overall sort of feel for the month, and that is of general abundance. The 10 is, getting to a point where you kind of feel that stability. You feel like you're finally getting somewhere, which is a nice sensation after struggling for a period of time. Then that 10 represents that feeling, and I think it is fairly justified. Okay, it does want also not to get too attached to that abundance. So it can be a bit of a warning not to get into a comfort zone, which is kind of represented in part by the 4 of Hearts in representing you. The second card represents the person. So there's a sense of feeling of stability, which can lead to feeling very dissatisfied over time. So it's important to shake things up a little bit, which is represented by the middle card, which represents the month. It's usually the question of the spread, which is, of course, the month. The 5 represents a shake-up of these. So these two together are kind of causing a bit of a comfort zone. So the 5 is kind of shaking it all up financially, emotionally. You kind of, not feeling altogether on, firm, your firm 2 feet, well grounded. So that's a good shake-up because it gets you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and it reignites that passion for life, your life. The King of Spades is always a very interesting and challenging one to read, because he is the best and the worst of situations and things. So it's in the challenge house. So what it says to me is that you need to overcome something, probably an internal struggle, an internal challenge of some sort, which could be related to the comfort zones. Just as the king can be the biggest obstacle, he can also be the biggest teacher. He's got the ability to teach the lessons that we need to learn. So he's the king of kings, the master of masters, and he doesn't answer to anybody else, which tells me that this is something that you kind of possibly been putting off for a while. In the near future card, okay, we've got the 2 of diamonds, which is quite interesting. About making a choice, but it's also about being flexible, which is the shake-up of the comfort zone, which is indicated by this challenge. So it requests that in the near future, during the course of this month, be a little bit more, we need to be a bit more flexible, a little bit more willing to change and transition, and to trust your intuition. That's a big one, on trusting intuition. So the romance for one card is really the shake-up of what has become possibly a little bit dull, a little routine, very cozy, very good. It's all good. However, it doesn't work, when you don't evolve. So this is giving you a little bit of a shake-up. I don't think it's anything overly major, but there's going to be some challenging elements of this month. I want a bit of a qualifier on what the challenge really does entail. So let's have a look, see, using the cat cards, because they always have a way of making things light-hearted. Oh, interesting enough, we got the ace again. I lied. I cheated. I looked at the bottom card. Right, so we've got, this is the challenge. Okay, so this gives us more clarification on the challenge. Bombs away. Time to take a bit of a risk. So I actually show you the cards. They are really quite endearing. He's putting the right way up. So what the clarification is saying is the Seven of Hearts is a time to, how do I put it? It's not being led astray by wishful thinking, but having the courage to dream, okay, which is represented by the two, which requires you to make a decision, which is what the king is requiring, is asking. And then again, you've got the ace, the passion. So to me, it's the romance for one. It's the evolution of the person that is you. Be more flexible. It's all going to be good. Let me get a oracle card to represent your reading. Might give you some more inspiration that you can take away. Right. My friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. So I think it's calling not to be afraid to reach out for assistance and help when you need it. If you find that the romance for one card is becoming a bit much and you don't quite understand what it is that you should know, then perhaps you can call on your friends to give you a bit of assistance for that. So thank you so much for watching your reading. I do hope you enjoyed the reading. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, follow the channel. And have a fantastic day ahead. All the best for the month of June. Hey, hello, and welcome to your reading. This is reading 3, and it's represented by the King of Spades and Jade, which is green. The King of Spades is not an easy card to pull out, but it's as positive as it is negative. And that's the beauty of the card, is that he can represent the biggest obstacle in your path, which is usually you, or the biggest ally, which is you. And he has the ability to teach us things that we need to learn. So let's see what we have in store for you during the month of June. What lessons are we going to learn, and what are the rewards? Because there's no challenge without some sort of reward. There's always a reward of some sort. So let's have a look, see what the cards say. Very, very good. You see? So not all challenges are overly negative. Okay, what we're looking here is actually a very positive spread. So from the negativity, so this means, look, you've got two kings. The kings are responsible for making decisions for authority. They're kind of the final authority on the subjects. The King of Spades is calling for getting in touch with feelings in a way. It's a very, very honest card. It's a very brutal card. It's about justice. It's about teaching. And then, the near future card, which is the last card, is calling for more emotional input as opposed to simply, being on a militant sort of path. So that's the goal between the two. That's the link between the two. The Four of Hearts is a bit of a comfort zone. So it's representing the overall mood for the month, possibly even the past. So usually comfort zones are coming from the past. So it's a fairly comfortable place, but indicated by the 6 and the 7, you are kind of needing to break out of that a little bit. It's nothing too dramatic. I don't think June's going to be a huge, as dramatic a month as the past month has been. So be wary of not getting too stuck in the comfort of, of emotions and security, etc. The Six of Diamonds again is a flexible card. It indicates you are in a position or in a mindset where you're willing to cooperate, which is great because that's how we evolve, that's how we get ahead, and that's how we bring good things into our lives, is with give and take, because selfishness doesn't always get us there. The Seven of Diamonds represents the month. It's the card that represents the question, and the question is the month, so it's representing the whole month. That's the general feel, but that represents the actual culmination of the month. What happens? What is the general goal? So the 7 is steady but positive growth. So it's going to be some work, but it is going to get there. And that's the good part about it, is that you will be able to measure your progress, which is great. The challenge of the month is represented by the 4th card, which interestingly enough is a romance card. This is the card about falling in love, being in love, social. So I think it's calling for you to get out a bit more this month. Perhaps even fall in love. Stop resisting. Stop being too militant. And, the King of Spades is a very militant, very, in a way, set in his ways. The 4 of Hearts is a comfort zone. So I think your challenge is to combat that, get out more, possibly fall in love, or even just make friends. I often see this is not a love reading per se, so I see the Jack of Hearts as being a social card, a call for you to be a bit more social, get out with your friends, meet new people, that sort of thing. I'm going to get a confirmation on that. So let's pull out some more cards to see what the Jack of Hearts really represents as a challenge for you personally. Very interesting enough, we got again the romance card, so that's very interesting. We've got a lot of 4, so that's kind of stability, and I think that's the combat. The Jack of Hearts is repeated again, so I think perhaps it's time to get out of your comfort zone, your emotional comfort zone, and actually challenge yourself. The 4 represents stability and also good news, and the 4th of Diamonds equally. It indicates that what you fear in terms of getting out, being more social and being out and about, will actually bring you the stability that you kind of are looking for. So it's all good. I think you should be getting out a little bit more. Very interesting. That's why I like using different packs, because they often mirror the cards. Right. So finally, you have the King of Hearts. The King of Hearts is concerned with relationships and family and friends and community, but it's good to do with emotions. So the two together, the challenge and the future, is to push you into feeling more, as opposed to being very practical, overly practical, and being more on the emotional side. So I hope that resonates with you. Let me get an oracle card for you that will hopefully give you some inspiration for the month ahead. I am committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. And we can't really do that with our emotions without being open to it. So that is your inspiration card. So thank you so much for watching this reading. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this kind of content, follow the channel. You'll be alerted to more videos just like this one. Have a lovely day, and thank you for watching.